God's green earth would make me want to do this. But I don't know if you can make it all very fancy by talking about left brain, right brain, and stuff. I don't do that. It's too confusing. But it does, it's good enough if we just say it breaks my pattern of this and that and I've got to go, holy cow, how do I do this? And although it's not meant as a cue or an aid or anything for the horse at all, he got better. He got better because you got more elastic, because it's like a baby horse. When you break a baby horse and they know nothing, they're much easier to teach than an older horse that knows too much. And they have all their own answers to everything. All right, this direction, same thing. We have the big disadvantage, most of us anyway, of having been told or read or watched clinics and lessons or whatever, keep your hands down and still. Well, this horse has that figured out to a fine art, that you tend to keep your right hand down and still, and all he has to do is spit out the rein, and you are rendered useless at that moment. Huh?
Should I try?
Yeah. And do experiment. So you might say, I'm going to pull on the right hand. That would be the left rein. Fine. I can do that. So you are now, even if it's a bit bewildering, you are now much, much better about not letting him snap the reins floppy loose every step. You follow? Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So he tried twice to suck up and back and render you absent, and you were better. It didn't work. Hey, good. Good. Normally, when he pops up like he did over just now over there, you would have lost the contact. And this way, you're sort of tricked into it. Good, good. Good. It doesn't matter if he's a bit high in the snout for now, because he is keeping a connection in the base of his neck. Doesn't matter if he's turning his head and staring at that redhead over there, because he still has a connection in his neck. Good. All right. Yes. Good. He popped up and it did not succeed in making you lose contact. Yes, Pumpkin. Such a life.
To work so hard for an hour a day.
Good. Neat. Good. No loss of contact. All right, now go back to regular reins and see if you can keep that same feel that when he flips his face around or fusses or fumes that you can say, oh yes, it's just like when I had the reins crossed. Mostly good. The great temptation that you want to overcome is to take your outside hand out and down. This is good. If it were a horse show situation, of course I would say slightly against bit. But horse shows are no way to determine whether your training is going well, because the judges aren't expected and can't, for the most part, know where you're coming from. So when he stretches out towards the bit and allows a steady, even contact, that would be great. If he also happens to get rounder relative to being on the bit, that's also great. Oh, nice. You have not lost the contact once since you put the reins back to normal. Good. It's a real war of attrition of us against ourselves. He's just an ally or a non-ally.
Looking pretty.
Well done. All right, rest. Boy, did that get better, huh? Spiffy. Now, we hear the word connection all the time, huh? It's bandied about like it actually meant something. Well, it does in certain quarters and for certain things, but when somebody says, oh, needs better connection, that can mean different things to different people, different instructors, different competitors, different judges. For me, what it means for the horse is that even if he puts his snout up too high, he does not drop a certain body part. Can you guess what it is? Nope, they can't drop the shoulder. It lives on top of the leg. So, tell me the question again, so I know that you heard that right.
What body part does he drop when he lifts his head?
Oh, maybe I said it wrong. When he loses connection. So, if he raises his head, he can do that and keep connection, or he can lose connection. It's the base of the neck. So, I call it C5. Yes, exactly. So, a horse can go along too high in the head, you get a low mark in his show. The snout too much stuck out, you get a low mark in his show. But you're schooling, and you say, okay, C5, which is close to the base of the neck, stayed up. Okay, I can ride. Nobody's broken anything, it's just not so attractive.
Yeah.
When they disconnect, they drop C5 like that, And then even if the face is vertical and it's quote unquote looking on the bit, it's still no good. So what you got there with him was at first an avoidance. He just spat out the contact. So that was partly him doing it and partly you not knowing how to avoid having it done to you. And then it got better, but he looked too much out with his snout. And that's okay as long as you feel that the C5, which includes or is related to when his thorax is up between his front legs. Okay? And most everybody does this. They describe something based not on fact, not on biomechanic, but on sensation. So a person might say, oh, I've got to raise his shoulders, or oh, he dropped his shoulders. They can't do that. The shoulders are at the upper end of the limb. It's going to stay there no matter what. But something comes up. So you could say it's the base of the neck. Oh, it could be just the pole of the snout. That's not perfect. But you could say it's C5 coming up. Some people will say the horse raises its withers. Well, that it actually can do, but that's merely it's a sensation given. But it's a byproduct of pushing the thorax up between the front legs. And so people will say, I must make him raise the base of his neck or raise his withers. Those are sort of true, but they're really a description of sensation, because the fact is that the horse uses the sling muscles of the thorax, which attach behind the shoulder blade, and they're like straps, and they go to the ribs, one each. And when they contract, it pulls the thorax up like this. And then the pectoral muscles, which are right between the front legs, they kick in and contract, and that keeps that up. So when that stuff is up, you have a really good chance of saying, horsey, just accept the contact and get over it. But once the thorax falls down between the shoulders, the front legs, the pectoral muscles go limp. All of this is hanging down, and then they can just disconnect here at the base of the neck. So that's what you accomplished, is you got him to stay connected. Now, by the end, he was also in a very nice carriage, and a very steady one. But even if you get on tomorrow and he starts out going, why, you will say, I'm not going to work on headset, I'm going to work on connection. And that's where this came in. It was just a pattern breaker for you. This has no effect on the horse directly, but it makes the rider go, how do I cope? And then we stop doing the same old stuff that we're used to doing. All right, can you make sense of all that?
Yeah.
That was gorgeous at the end.
Yeah.
Steady and soft and reachy, even when he went, what's over it? Oh, hell with it. Kind of thing. Jolly good. Well done.
That was really good.
Much disservice is done to us when we aren't tricked into or taught about connection, elasticity, plasticity, stability, and so on. And we're just told to keep your hands down and quiet. So there you are. Hands are down and quiet, and the horse goes, aha! I'll just drop that rein and have a look.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.